Pennsylvania. I'm curious what you think is going to happen to the workforce in Pennsylvania. And by the way, around the country, Dario Modi, who runs Anthropic, recently came out and said he thinks that literally in the next couple of years, half of white-collar jobs could be effectively eliminated. You go to California, you get into Waymo, and you start to say to yourself, all the folks who are driving taxis and Ubers around the country, they may not have a job. I mean, how do you think about that?
Well, listen, I think you have to start with the premise that this is happening. This is a revolution that's happening. Artificial intelligence is becoming a huge driver of economic activity. It's going to change the nature of commerce, the nature of national security. It's inevitable. And so then the question is, how do you maintain a leadership position, both as a country and also here in the Commonwealth? In the foreseeable future, I think what it offers is huge opportunity to grow jobs. I see with the investments today, many tens of thousands of new construction jobs that will be created.
What is going on, guys? What is going on? Good morning. Just waiting on CPI data here. It's about to drop in 2 seconds as soon as this guy shuts up.
Innovation and the AI innovation, the technology innovation that supports Pennsylvania's growth. In the foreseeable future, it's all positive. We're going to have more and more jobs, and we'll have to see as things evolve how it affects certain industries.
We got to thank you. We got CPI numbers just coming out. The markets are moving on the back of that. Good luck with your event today. Thanks.
Thank you.
Well, we do have that breaking news right now. Let's get straight to Rick Santelli for more on that. Rick, take it away.
Yes, this is our June read on CPI, the consumer price inflationary guide, and it is a little warmer than expected on year over year, but headline looks good, up 0.3 as expected. That does follow up 0.1. Up 0.3 would be the second warmest of the year. January was the warmest at up 0.5%. This is as expected, but 0.2 hotter than the rearview mirror. If we strip out food and energy, comes in 1/10 cooler than expectations, up 0.2. We were expecting up 3, and the rearview mirror was up 1/10. Up 0.2 equals where we were in April. To find a higher number, you're going once again back to January, the high watermark for the year, up 0.4. Now let's go year over year. Year over year headline. This includes food and energy, is up 2.7. That's 1/10 hotter than we were expecting. It's 0.3 hotter than our last look at 2.4. And how does it come? 2.7 will be the highest read since January or February. February was 2.8. January is 3.0. So even though it's less than it was at the beginning of the year, it did warm up just a bit. And finally, if we go year over year ex food and energy, arguably, in my opinion, one of the most important numbers, it comes in at 2.9, exactly as expected. But it is 1/10 hotter than the rearview mirror, which was 2.8. 2.9, well, it would be the warmest read since February once again. You had January and February 3.3 and 3.1 respectively. So even though we have made progress from the beginning of the year when numbers were higher, we do see a little bump on the year over year. Maybe the best news is the monthly core number up 0.2. It certainly seems as though the market was expecting this or worse because interest rates initially moved lower. We're basically unchanged pre-number. 10-year note now hovering at 440 actually is less. We were around 441, 442 before the number. If you look at what's going on with the yield curve, we see that the short rates are virtually unchanged. Long rates are moving down a little more aggressively, and that would make sense if the inflation data is less than the worst case scenario, the long end reflecting that. And, of course, we want to pay very close attention to the yield curve at this point because it really has been about whether it's steepening or flattening. A lot has to do with the short maturities and how they relate to the Fed. Obviously, we're not going to get a July rate cut, at least deemed by market activity and most economists and analysts. So we want to watch the complexion of the curve. I would say that use 50 basis points as your guide on the difference between 10s and 2s. Becky, back to you.
So, Rick, if we were to summarize, people have been waiting for tariff inflation and it doesn't really, I don't think the jury's still out. You can't say it's here, you can't say it's not here. It's a little bit warmer, but not the worst case scenario that a lot of people were predicting by now. Is that about right?
No, that explains it. That, to me, the best way to look at this is inflation is going to ebb and flow. If we want to really isolate it in terms of what this administration's doing or Liberation Day, I would benchmark it to the beginning of the year. January and February reads being warmer gives you a lot.
All right, so you can see there, inflation came in some cases lower than expected, especially core inflation came in 0.2% month over month versus 0.3. So the core number is looking really good. Now, we were pumping already. You could see this huge pump here from last night. We were pumping because of an announcement that the Trump administration was going to let NVIDIA sell its high-end chips to China. And so remember what I keep telling you guys in the videos that we do, or in the videos that I release on a weekly basis. This to me looks like the dot-com era. This is what this looks like, right? Initially coming into this year, I don't think many people were particularly bullish, including me. And then obviously after Liberation Day, where those astronomically high tariffs, ridiculously high tariffs, and it seems purposeful now, looking back in hindsight, that those tariffs were ridiculously high so that when they're brought down to 20% or 10%, there isn't a freak out. But that was a golden opportunity to buy. Obviously, nobody thought that we would just V-shape like that at the height of the tariff fears. But as I said, it got to a point where some of these stocks were, it was more of a risk not to buy them than it was to buy them. That is the level that some of these stocks got to, down 30, 40, 50%. We're talking about blue chips here, right? We're not talking about CoreWeave and HIMS. We're talking about NVIDIA, Meta, right? These stocks were down 30, 40, 50%. And it got to the point where it was just, you risked a lot more by not jumping in. And so now what we're seeing is obviously there is no stopping the demand for AI. And the reason that I say that this looks like the dot-com era, not only does the chart follow this really exemplary research here by Nautilus Investment, showing that there's a 98% correlation, 98% over 3 years, 96, 97, and 98 is following what we're seeing now to the T, right? I don't know that this has ever happened before to this degree of correlation, but obviously the chart looks like the dot-com era, right? But also, if you think about it from a fundamental standpoint, when we think about AI, and I'm going to get to the charts in a second, but when we think about AI, right, we think about chatbots, because that is the scope of, or the limit of our scope, right? That's all we're able to see as of now is ChatGPT, Perplexity, Google Gemini, right? What we know about AI right now in terms of use cases, chatbots, LLMs, and then self-driving, because we see Waymos in the street. We're going to see Tesla roll out and scale as well. But every single company, medical services, travel services, transportation, every single company, insurance, every single company is going to have an AI component. Every single one. In the same way that back in the dot-com era, I'm old enough to remember, I was a teenager, but I'm old enough to remember when companies first got their .com, right? Oh my God, Nike.com, they finally got a website, right? Costco.com, they finally got a website. Obviously, the online experience now is necessary, right? Every company, every service, everything that you engage with on a consumer level has an online component. So that's going to be the same for AI, right? The way your insurance, for instance, is going to be based on AI data of how you drive, if we're even driving, right? radiology will be done with AI, and I bet minor surgeries leading up to major surgeries will be done with AI. So the AI spend is going to go up even more in the coming years, in my opinion, and we are definitely in a bubble. The difference is this bubble is made up of companies that actually make money, right? The .com era was full of companies that just put a .com at the end of their name, and there was just this hyper speculation that that these .com companies would be worth something, but they weren't really producing anything. Like most of the .com companies folded, right? And then you have the remnants of that, Amazon, Google, etc. They went on to become the biggest companies in the world. But most .com companies folded. We're not seeing that type of hysteria here. We're seeing a bubble within companies that are actually making money, right? NVIDIA, Meta, Google, Amazon, and some of the companies that I talked about, the laggards, that I think there's a major opportunity still with SMCI, with Dell, right? There is still opportunity for the rest of the companies that are in the I guess not so immediate AI in the not so immediate AI sphere, because we think of chips and we think of software, but then what about server racks? What about cooling racks, etc. Right? There's still an opportunity there for a lot of companies, materials companies, lithography companies like ASML. There's still an opportunity for these companies to rise along with that AI boom. And we will get a bust cycle, right? Like there will be such heavy spend, and these companies are going to just continue growing. NVIDIA, I think, can get to 5-6 trillion easy in terms of market cap. But then obviously there will be a slowdown, right? And then a ramp up once again. But for now, right, at least for the next 12 months, this is going to be the story. This seemingly resilient market that just has no retracements. That AMD leap you have must be printing, man, you have no idea. I can't wait until market open. I can't wait until market open. 50 minutes and I will check on I have ASML, I have an ASML debit spread, I have AMD leaps. Yeah, I can't wait. Is CPI out? Come on. Come on. We're not going to start the morning like this. All right. Let's check on futures real quick. Got it. So we buy now. Oh my God, bro. Where's this guy been? Where has this guy been? Imagine being in, I would hate to be in that position, bro. I would hate to be in that position where I missed the entire rally and this is where I want to buy. MP3 Fitness, appreciate your donation to St. Jude's. Thank you. Did CPI leak? Shut up, dude. No, he's just kidding. He's in the Discord. Jasmine, what's going on? All right, so we printed, obviously, the hold on for a second. We printed the data high and data low candles here. 8:30 was the CPI drop, right? So we have data lows right there. which will likely get taken first. I'm not bearish today. Very hard to be bearish. When is Apple going to move? With the cry face emoji? Bro, if you're crying because of stocks, one, you need to stop being a bitch. Two, you probably should find another game. Apple will break out when it signs a deal or buys an AI company. Why would Apple go up just because you leave a crying emoji? Apple's going to go up. Apple needs to join the AI space. This guy says you VIXy puts like a genius. He's going to chase the VIX down. The VIX is already the lowest that it's been since February, and this genius thinks he's going to chase it down. Bro, you're not going to make money on the VIX, okay? You will not make money on the VIX. Here's the only way to make money on the VIX. The only way to make money on the VIX is if you get in and the VIX makes a big move, or the VIX has already made a big move and you short it. You're not going to make money on the VIX. Is not like a stock, right? You're not going to buy VIX puts at 16 and then the VIX goes to 15 and you make money. You are going to lose money. You're not going to make money. Paper trade it. If you don't believe me, paper trade it, okay? I think that's the best course of action. Paper trade it and see how the VIX moves. The VIX is not like a you know, like buying puts and calls on stocks. And by the way, people think that VIX options are based on the VIX index. It's not. VIX options are based on VIX futures, not the VIX index. Any thoughts on INTC? Yeah. Thoughts and players. Don't ask me a lazy question, bro. I don't know. What thoughts do you want? Chip design, Intel as a company, day trade, just thoughts. Lenka says, VIX seems to also be less profitable on downwards. That is such a good point. You're 100% right, because VIX inherently, the VIX options inherently, they go up exponentially when IV goes up. And ironically, we talk about IV, and VIX is a volatility instrument. So when the VIX spikes, IV spikes, right? And the IV of those VIX options, which are based on VIX futures, spike. But that's a great point. Okay, real question. What do you think about Shkreli's quantum shorts? What is that, dude? That sounds like a laser tag place. What is Shkreli's quantum shorts? That sounds like a place you do laser tag and go eat pizza. MA or ASML in 5 years' time, who performs better? Bro, these aren't sports teams. Do your analysis on the company. See what you like about it. Go into the company's history. Look at the company's growth trajectory. Look at its valuation, and make a determination what you like about what company and why. You're not picking a sports team, this or that. That's not how the market works, right? Go in here. Stop being lazy. Go in here. Look at this. Be like, okay, I can see that the revenues are growing. Wow. In 10 years, ASML's revenues went from 6.8 billion to 33 billion. Impressive. Growing year over year. All right, let me look at its cash position, etc. And you can use, you can use Grok to help you, or ChatGPT, or whatever the hell you like. What the fuck? Oh my God. But you can use Grok to help you, right? Give me the top 5 metrics I should look at to evaluate a company for the long term. Something like that. Like, it's insane the resources that we have, and it feels like the noob investing community is regressing, right? Not progressing. But just do something like that. Like, if you don't know where to start, just spend a couple of hours. You will, like, if you're starting from scratch, you only have one way to go, which is up, right? And that's when you retain the most information because you know nothing, right? So all of this is just, you're compiling more and more and more information, more knowledge. So just do that. And then, you know, pick whatever, your favorite site, whether it's Seeking Alpha or Yahoo Finance or whatever, and start going through this stuff and make decisions. Otherwise, you should just be, if we're talking about investing, you should just be investing in the S&P 500 and the NASDAQ until you start learning why it is that you want to pick certain companies. You know, people think that I'm mean or whatever. I'm really not. I've been around a long time, and I'm tired of losing money, and I feel like I'm your reality check. And you came onto the stream for a reason, and hopefully, if you're serious about trading, if you're serious about investing, that you take what I say and at face value, and that sparks something in you to start learning if you really want to. This is not a game for someone who doesn't want to learn, right? You can certainly be a good investor if you don't want to learn. You could just, every couple of weeks, you take your paycheck and you dollar cost average in the S&P, and you'll be fine in 20, 30 years. This guy says, "You're mean, bro." Nah, you're mean, bro. What's so funny is it's always like fuckboys that say this. You realize that it's never women that say this? It's always guys that that say, "You're mean, bro." I can't imagine if my dad was, like, if he was sitting right here and I'm talking to another male and I'm telling the male that he's being mean to me. I can't imagine what my dad would do. He'd smack me. "You're mean, bro." All right. We have data lows and we have data highs, and we don't act until one of those are taken, because that is a major form of liquidity, right? You have the 830 high. This right now I'm looking at NASDAQ and ES, right? NASDAQ and the S&P. The stock market is not open yet. It will open in 32 minutes. No, wait, 37 minutes. But we have data high and data low. I would much rather, I want the market to stay up today, because we are in a lot of long positions here. And I really don't feel like shorting a trend day. Also, I didn't check to see. Olorin, thank you for your donation, man. Appreciate it. We just have a bunch of Fed members speaking later. Tomorrow we have PPI. And then retail sales and unemployment claims on Thursday. So we don't have major news later today. Let's check what's going on with gold. Are there any particular SOX day for CPI data? Bro. Sometimes I think it's harder to type the way in which questions are framed to me than it is to actually. Are there any particular SOX day for CPI data? I have no idea, bro. Stock trading drains people? Yeah. 100%. Homie, why you look so tired? Because your mom kept me up all night. That's why. She was blasting Earth, Wind, and Fire in the bedroom all night. Wouldn't go to sleep. Just kept making herself martinis. Martini after martini with the Earth, Wind, and Fire on full blast. I'm like, look, I got to get up for CPI. And your son, Franklin, is going to be watching. Bro, I'm tired because it's fucking 5 in the morning here. I'm on the West Coast. I could tell who will never be profitable either, right? And again, it's always the fuckboys that say it. It's never women that say stuff like this. It's always the fuckboys. The unprofitable fuckboys. If you spent that much energy trying to focus on your trading, you wouldn't be a fuckboy, I promise you. Gold has a pretty interesting data high here. I think gold might be a very interesting trade. Once we get closer to market open. So I'm waiting for what I'm potentially waiting for on gold. If we can sweep Asia low here, or maybe this low, I think there will be a long to get to data high. Yeah, I think there will be a long on gold to get to data high. Especially because we're in this 4-hour fair value gap as well. Yeah. I think that will be a magnet later today. That's an interesting trade. ES took data high, NQ didn't. Let's groove tonight. Share the spice of life. Yeah, ES, NQ did, ES did not. So that's ES's 830, that's NQ. So now we have divergence here. I wonder if we get a little short before market open to take out that low. groove tonight. Can you explain what a fair value gap is? Briefly, but a fair value gap is that. It's a 3-candle pattern. And the gap in between, like this, is the fair value gap. I'm not going to give you a course on a fair value gap right now. I might want to short this to get down to there on NQ. What? Earth, Wind, and Fire is one of my favorite bands, bro. And apparently, one of Franklin's mom's favorite bands. She wouldn't stop playing it all night. I might short NQ here. Yeah. To get down to data low. I'm going to short NQ to get down to there. 23. 151. Let's see. So we are in a macro. That's a 13-point stop. That's like a 4-to-1 trade. I might take this here. I like the risk to reward. Yeah, I think this is a great risk to reward here. And obviously, like down here, two to one will be like right there. Which we can then decide to take. I'm just paying attention to ES here because I want to make sure ES doesn't spike up to take out that 830 high. Like I want this divergence to remain. And I think the 13-point stop is very negligible. So I want to take that risk to reward in this macro here. But I'm only willing to do it with one contract. We have 5 minutes for this macro. Otherwise, I think we get an A+ trade on gold later. To go up to that 830 high. CPI in 8 minutes? No, CPI is over, bro. It already came out 36 minutes ago. I think there's a long on YM too. I should have been looking at YM as well. There's a really nice long on YM to get up here. Just like RTY. YM looks like RTY. Fuck, that would have been a perfect long right there. It took 830 low in the golden pocket in that 5-minute fair value gap. All right, let's see what's up pre-market. Tesla with the nice move. It actually was not up pre-market. Is now up to 318.85. If we can close above this gap on Tesla, then I think that the next stops are 355 and 370. Apple barely getting any love this morning, obviously because it's AI. It's lagging on AI for sure. Google slowly inching up. I think Google will be above 200 in no time. Well, in time, but I think it's inching towards this gap here. Which gold stock do you trade? I trade GC futures, but if you're trading stock, you would trade GLD options. Forex traders would trade AUX, I think. Where are we at here? All right, we're outside of the macro. It's about minus 0.25 R here. I might de-risk this and wait until we get to market open since we're outside of the macro. Because I think as we get closer to market open, we will see a big spike, and I don't want to get taken out by that. So I'm going to de-risk this here at minus 0.25 R and wait for market open. But I think the AMD is up. No shit. All the chips are up. I think gold will offer probably the best trade. Need a CISD? That would be nice. Yeah, if we got a 2-minute CISD right there, that would be nice. But within that macro, that 850 to 910, I wanted to see obviously a big move in my favor. But we're now out of the macro, and at market open, you'll probably get something like that. So I like to only trade in a very deliberate manner. I don't want to either get lucky or unlucky as we move closer to a suboptimal time. So there's still a lot of time in the day to take a good trade. So you're out of NQ or reduce your contracts? I only had one contract, dude. Yeah, I de-risked it at minus 0.25 R. So, okay. So this right here is a 2-to-1, right? Risking 1 to make double, right? If I get out here at a quarter of the way of this, that's minus 0.25 R. Right? If I get out here, that's minus 0.5 R. If I let the full stop limit hit, that's minus 1 R. Get it? That divergence still exists, and I still think that the trade could play out. It's just we're now out of a macro time, and the closer that we get to market open, the more fuckeries abound. That's it. And I feel like I could get an A+ trade after the fact pretty easily. What is your take on the gold futures market right now? What do you mean? What is my take on the gold futures market right now? I have no idea what you mean. I see gold as being bullish due to the ascending triangle. I don't trade like that. I think day trading, like if you're day trading, obviously you're looking at an intraday chart. This is not an ascending triangle. But if you're talking about multi-day, I don't know that gold is in a bullish trend. I don't know if you could say that it's on the verge of a breakout, right? We have this year-long trend line here. And if that breaks, then it could be the start of a downtrend, right? You have this trend line here. Market opens in 14 minutes, guys. Right back to where we were here on this short. I really want to take this, but I'm going to be responsible. Yeah, I won't. The de-risk was good in my opinion. No, I'm not going to take it. I'm going to wait until the market opens. I still think that fuckeries abound. We will get some big wicks here coming up. Is Tesla benefiting from chip China news? Why would Tesla benefit from that? No, Tesla needs to release robotaxi updates. That's what Tesla needs to do. It is up a couple of bucks pre-market. But this is a pivotal close here. If we can close above this, then for sure it's up for Tesla. Bad trade. I'm not in a trade, dumb shit. I'm not in a trade. All these sideline quarterbacks. I'm not in a fucking trade. We're going to wait until market opens. But we have a call debit spread. Man, I'm dying to see what my positions look like. I have about a $5,500 position on ASML. I have SMCI 50 calls. I think our SMCI is going to print. So 7-Eleven, which was 4 days ago, I bought the August 15th 50 calls. You can see it here in the Discord. August 15th 50 calls. Because we were setting up I also have AMD Leaps, which I did send out. I sent out the Let's see, where's AMD? Been in AMD for a while, but there was a re-entry at like the 132 level. So looking forward to see. Now our SMCI calls are going to be in the money when the market opens, because we have the 50 calls and it's trading at 51 and change. Good de-risk. Good de-risk. Pat on the back for that shit. I think there will be, let's see. Oliver says, dump all those semi stocks, tariffs coming in second half. This guy is still on the tariff story. Bro, the market does not give a shit about tariffs. And neither does Trump. He cares about tariffs at this level, and I will give him credit for the tariff revenue that the U.S. has collected so far. But the tariff scare, no, I do not think that anyone cares about that. I think that story is long gone. Appreciate you, Edward. Fat John. That's not your real name. Fat John Maharaj? How do you pronounce that? Is it pronounced like Fat John or Fat John? I've never heard that name. Any thoughts on Chinese stocks? Thoughts. Sure. My thoughts are, you can't beat the American stock market. That's my thoughts on Chinese stocks. What platform do you trade on? I trade on Public. You know why I trade on Public? 1, they're the best. 2, you actually get rebates for your options trades. So not only are options trades free, they give you a cut of the order flow. So far I made $137 in rebates trading options on Public. And if you want a Public account, click the link in the description. You can get up to $10,000 for transferring your account over from another broker. All right, let's see. What are we doing with gold here? We better be moving down on gold. Yes, this is what I want to see. This is what I want to see. Should I close out this Google leap? If you're asking a random dude online what you should do with a big position, you have no business trading with real money. Sorry to say. I have no idea who you are and what you should do with your positions. I don't know if you're 25 or 65. I don't know what the rest of your portfolio looks like. I don't know when you bought these Google Leaps. I don't know what your time horizon's like. I don't know what your risk tolerance is. I have no idea who you are. So whether you ask me or another YouTuber what you should do with your large position, that's crazy, bro. Can non-US citizens join Public? If you are in the US, yes. If you are not in the US, no. What do you think about TPT? I don't know what that is, dude. Thoughts on solar stocks? Thoughts. they pay you for promotion. Who, Public? Yeah, Public is a sponsor. And if you know anything about this channel, you know I don't sponsor anybody. But they are based in the US. They're based in New York. They're a respectable broker. And I said yes to teaming up with them after many meetings and reviews of their product. And I used their product with real money for a long time before I decided to partner up with them. So yes, they are a partner of this channel. You said, what? 10 minutes ago, bad trade? Look at it now. What are you talking about? Whose trade did I say was a bad trade? Bro, it's like sometimes reading the chat, your IQ level drops, I swear to God. Especially when people try to clown, but they don't have the chops for comedy. It's like the cringiest shit trying to read their supposed diss. Don't buy Soxel now? Hell no. We bought Soxel at 7. We bought Soxel at $7, currently trading at 28. That's 400%. And I think Soxel goes to easily between 50 and 70 at some point. He probably meant you got out of the trade. Yeah, what's wrong with getting out of the trade? I really don't understand what's wrong. I mean, that obviously was the right choice. What are you? All right, I can't read this chat anymore. This chat is 20 plus IQ points below Discord. Yeah, I agree. All right, so we still have that divergence between ES and NQ. Market opens in 2 minutes. And what I'm curious to see is at open, whether ES goes like this to take out the high, or this divergence remains and we retrace down to 830 before then going up. That's what I'm looking at. Because this looks like we might, it depends on what ES does here, but there's a high chance in 1 minute we bounce off this to take this high. And this is what I wanted to essentially avoid. But if we close below this, then I think we sweep 830 first if we close below this. Either way, you don't want to be in a trade in 1 minute. And 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Boom. More SMT here. I wonder if we get a short. This looks like manipulation. If ES doesn't take out that 830 high, I think we get a short here. I'm going to try and take this down to 830. But ES is not cooperating. I'm going to set my stop to break even here. I really want to see NQ get down here, but ES is not cooperating. That divergence still exists. Come on, get to 830. 830 is what? 23,151. Let's see. I wonder if we can get down to 830. That'll be like $1,200 per contract. Hell yeah. $830 is the target. Come on. Get down to data low. At least that low right there. If ES touches 830 first, I'm out. My stop is at break even, so I'm just going to let it rock. Whichever one gets to 830 first, I'll be out. Keep going, baby. Up 900. Yes. Up 1,000. I'm booking that. I'm out. Not going to be a dick for a tick. We hit that low. I'm out. Quick 1,000. And once one of them takes 830, then I think we get a long back on the table. Hell yeah. Perfect trade. You see, this is why I said at the open, like why I de-risk, because at the open, this type of wicking, right? You could still be right on the trade and still be, you could still be right on the trade and still be entirely, sorry, I'm looking at something else, but you could still be right on the trade and get wicked out, right? So I didn't want to be there at the open, but right after open, once that manipulation wick came, and I saw that we still had that divergence between ES and NQ, after that manipulation, then I got into the short on that retracement into that 1 hour 1 minute IFEG, writing it down to data low. And ES has not taken data high yet. ASML is up really nice. I have, what do I have? I have 10 call debit spreads. I have the 790, 800 call debit spread expiring August 15th. So I just need ASML above 800. And I make 5,000 off this position. Currently, it's up 1,000 already. SMCI doing well. Currently up 23% on SMCI. And then the AMD leaps, holy shit, they're up 56%. The AMD leaps are up 56%. Man, when leaps get going, they are so much better than buying shares. These leaps expire in December. I have the December 25th 120 calls on AMD. Oh, hell yeah. All right, let's see if we can get a stock trade. I just got to send out an update here. Up 23% on SMCI calls. $56.22. Next target is 56.22. 60 and 66. Cool. All right, let's see if we can get a long on gold here. So the reason that I like gold, we're in that daily fair value gap. And if you look at, say, like the 1 hour, this is a power of 3, consolidation, manipulation. What is your theta for AMD? It's a leap, so the theta is very low. December 19th is when it expires. So any other trades? Are you done for today? Yeah. I'm trying to trade all morning. Yes, the market just opened, bro. I love how humble this guy is after a win. I don't know if you were being sarcastic. I hope you're not, but I don't know if you're being sarcastic. I want to look for a gold long here. If we can get, okay, here's what I'm looking for on gold, all right? If we can get a CISD above this, change in the state of delivery, summon the nut, I will. If we can get a change in the state of delivery, then I'm going to look for a gold long. And the gold long can it might take a while because gold doesn't move like NQ. But that right there is data high. This is the CPI high. Now, gold is bearish today because stocks are pumping. Oh, this might be the long here. So we took 830. Finally. NQ also took London low and ES didn't. So now we have bullish divergence. And I think that ES is going to go for that 830 for the data high. Let's see if we can get a long here. Yeah, I think we can potentially get along here. Yes, did take it. What are you talking about, Doug? Oh, London? Yeah. Yeah. Yes, did take London. But not 830 high. Let's see if we get a CISD here as well. I just need to know if this is the... You fuck. Don't do that, bro. Don't do that, bro. On gold, yeah, I needed to get above this. So I'm going to remain patient because gold is bearish right now. So with something like gold, you need confirmation. With something like... Where is this going? London low, Asia low is all the way down there. No, there's more downside. I can't long NQ here. I think there's more downside. I think there's more downside. All right, here we go. Here we go on gold. No, you fuck. Come on. Why is my Ninja Trader freezing? You son of a... I'm going to go long on gold. Let's see. Let's see. Can we get a 2-to-1 off this? I think so. I could take it from here. I think there's an easy 2-to-1. I'm going to go long on gold. 830 high is the goal, but I think first TP will be 3358.4. But there is this 15-minute here. I think we can get there. 3358.4. I'm in. I think we can get there. Should I set my stop to break even here? There is that 15-minute, but I think we're going to trade through that. If this is the bottom, I think we trade through this 15-minute fair value gap. Do I want to take this in prop 2? Three, 4, 7. All right, I'm going to let that play. This is one that I planned pre-market based on where gold was in the high time frame. I did set my stop to break even here. 1 second. Let me move this. That might be easier to see. I want to see if we can get to that 0.5. Obviously, 830 high would be amazing. But I want to see if we can get to that 0.5 level, 3358.4, which would be almost $1,000. So we picked up 1,000 on NQ and see if we can get 1,000 on gold. Keep going, baby. Two to one would be right around here. We are contending with this 15-minute fair value gap. But if we close above it, I think we're in the money. Up 450, guys. Hell yeah. We'll just keep this going here. The high time frame set up the trade for me. Daily fair value gap, like I said. I'm bullish on gold for the day, but we needed to sweep a major low. So not only did we sweep a major low, but we swept it into that daily fair value gap. And then on the low time frame, we got the 2-minute CISD, change in the state of delivery, and that's where I took it long. Obviously, you can book it if you like. I want the full extent of the play or break even. I don't care about a little win here, especially since we're up from NQ. This 15-minute is going to be a challenge. But if this truly is the bottom of the day for GC, then we are likely eventually going up there. So I'm going to leave it as is. And see if we can get another 4 digits out of this. It would be wild if I just set it to CPI high and fucked off for the day and see if it hits. Hell yeah, guys. Two to one is right here. Boom. 750. Out at 2 to 1. Oh, what a day. Caught the NQ short. Caught the gold long. And that was after I de-risked my NQ short in the morning. It's all about risk management. Boom. Oh, shit. SMCI is now up 30%. 31% on our SMCI calls. Man, I don't know what to tell you. Like, there are a lot of people in this space that I respect, but I don't know anyone that's doing debit spreads and leaps and option swing trades and futures. You know, typically you'll have like an options seller who's an expert at selling options, or someone who's an expert at futures day trading. Hopefully you guys caught that too. Regine, what's going on? Always good to see you. I hope life is treating you and the husband well. Entry point for Soxo? We bought Soxo at $7, bro. I don't know what to tell you. My target on AMD. I gotta update that one too, man. But let's see if we can find an options trade now. Oh, AMD did hit one of our targets. Let me see. Let me see. So 131 was a target. Yeah, 175. But we are now in this gap. Man. What's so funny is how things change, right? Like I was getting a lot of flack last year or early this year even for saying AMD is the advanced money destroyer. And when we bottomed and made a higher low, started making higher lows, swing. And then once I started reviewing they started coming out with the metrics for their new chips, the MI355X versus NVIDIA's Blackwell. The problem with NVIDIA is that it can't keep up with demand. So who is going to be the second player? And it's definitely not Intel, right? And that's when I started looking at AMD as an investment, not just a swing trade. But initially it was, something that was fun to short. And then it was something that looked like a good swing opportunity. And then I think things got serious. And the fact that it was a less than $200 billion company, NVIDIA is now close to a $4.5 trillion company. AMD has a lot of room to grow. Like there's a higher chance of you doubling your money in AMD than NVIDIA at this point, right? Because AMD's market cap is so low compared to NVIDIA. It's like 5% of NVIDIA's market cap. Two wins in a row, keep going. Bro, what do I look like, a robot? What an exit, too. I think it goes higher. I think this retraces and will go higher. But so I have a lot of stocks to update today because a lot of stocks are close to our next target. I think ASML pulls back here and moves to that 873 level. I hope they do a stock split soon. The only thing is that they report earnings tomorrow. So this is kind of risky. And NVIDIA reports earnings in 3 weeks. Or sorry, AMD reports earnings in 3 weeks. You might get your pullback on Soxel. But Soxel, I think, is a buy anytime it fills these gaps down here. I might actually exit my Soxel position before this earnings season. Like I'll keep, obviously, my investment in NVIDIA, my investment in AMD. I'll keep those investments. But I might exit Soxel since it's a leveraged ETF. It's a triple leveraged ETF. So if those chip stocks see a retracement due to earnings, Soxel drops disproportionately. So I actually might exit my Soxel. Do you think AMD goes higher as opposed to what, just staying in place forever? Would you buy AMD long? If you're asking that, you probably shouldn't be picking stocks for real money, in my opinion. Like if you waited this whole time and now you want to go long, it's just FOMO, right? That's all that is. And you need to fight that and learn how to not try to predict, but learn how to frame your investments ahead of time. Right? Like what makes a company undervalued? Why do you like it at this price? What are some of the metrics that you're looking at? What are you excited about? What is the moat? What is the competitive advantage? Right? Like typically I really like to invest in monopolies. So up until this point, I saw Nvidia as a monopoly, Uber as a monopoly. But I don't mind, like if I view the landscape of AI as there being one big player like Nvidia, who is the only player in town, but then they can't keep up with demand, and then here comes a second player in town who's also a serious company that is able to plug some of those supply gaps, and that company's only $200 billion in market cap, and if there is a chance that they start taking some of that demand away, or at least fulfilling some of that demand that Nvidia can't fill, then I think that there's a big growth story for AMD. But if you waited this entire time and now after a 6% day, you're saying, should I buy AMD now? You probably, in my humble opinion, you don't have to listen to me, but you're probably not ready to start throwing money and picking stocks, and you're still at the stage where you should be dollar cost averaging, and that's it. Amy, I didn't get your question. Oh, high time frame bias. Yeah. So starting on the daily chart or the 4-hour chart, you want to see if okay. So that gold trade, if you rewind the stream and go to the beginning of the stream, what I was saying is I'm going to be bullish on gold after it sweeps an area of liquidity, right? Because we were in a fair value gap here on the daily. If you look at the 4-hour, we had all these equal lows here, right? And I said all we need is a liquidity sweep right below these major levels in that daily fair value gap. And once we get that, then I'm going to look for a bullish setup on the low time frame. And that came in the form of a change in the state of delivery. Luke Cameron, I'm getting kind of a vibe where this guy is kind of talking out his bum. I don't know. Shit, it's something I'd say. So you're saying that you talk out of your bum? Now we have British fuckboys in the chat. This guy's kind of talking out his bum. All right, bro. Whatever your opinion is, bro. One of us is banking and the other one is using the word bum. Don't make me do opposition research on you. You're not worth it yet, Luke. You're not worth it yet. But I will go down that path if I deem you more annoying than that. He's talking out his bum. Isn't it? Yeah, he's not interesting enough yet, Luke Cameron, to do opposition research. Like right now, he's just talking like a British fuckboy who goes to private school and wears gray cardigans and white trainers. I wonder if we get along here now. ES might want to join the party to data high. What time is it? Lenka says, please, no mama jokes. I mean, I cannot guarantee that, Lenka. I appreciate the request, but I cannot guarantee that. But the reason I don't fuck with Luke Cameron's mom is because she only brushes her teeth once a day. Let's be real. I've never met a British person that brushes their teeth twice a day. That's why I don't fuck with Luke Cameron's mom. Luke, tell your mom no hard feelings. There are some interesting long opportunities, I think. Man, that YM long to data high was going to be a perfect trade. I really do not like trading ES. I do sometimes. But because ES is the only index, I think, let's see, RTY took data high, YM took data high, NQ obviously took data high. ES is the only one that hasn't. I think there might be a trade on the table here. Should we take our third trade of the day? Do you mind explaining the difference between CISD, market structure shift, and break of structure? Yes. If more people want me to explain it, I will. And shout out to the mastermind students. Session 3 is tomorrow at 7 p.m. Eastern. And it'll be our first session diving into the trading phase of the mastermind, where we will learn about order blocks and fair value gaps and change in the state of delivery and PO3s and IFEGs and all of the tools that are required to formulate a trade entry. Oh man, we got the perfect exit on gold. What a day. Up 1,700 on the futures real money account. Obviously our SMCI options going ham. Holy shit, 40% now on SMCI options. Oh. Oh. I might take some off the table here. When is earnings? I'm taking half of these off here. 40% on our SMCI calls, baby. What a read. If we can close this weekly candle above this trend line on SMCI, so if SMCI closes above anywhere in the 50s, if it closes in any of the 50s, then I think SMCI continues. SMCI is mad cheap from a PE standpoint. So if you look at its PE or its forward PE, and then I'll explain that change in the state of delivery in a second. These numbers don't even seem right. What? Hold on. What is SMCI's PE and forward PE? If you're not using AI for your investing, you are missing out. What is Grok doing? Grok is asleep. All right, we'll let it do that. Change in the state of delivery versus market structure shift, right? I'm going to look for another trade potentially at 10:50, so in 30 minutes. A change in the state of delivery has to do with the order block, okay? So anytime you hear change in the state of delivery, you were talking about an order block. It's not necessarily a market structure shift, okay? So if you look, what the hell? How do I do this replay trading? Oh, here you go. Oh, okay. It's just low. So if you look at gold here, right? Now, what is an order block? The last series of down close candles before an uptrend, right? So I typically will look for a 3-minute or 2-minute change in the state of delivery. I feel like anything higher than that, and you're veering, you're on the verge of being too late, right? But it all starts with the high time frame. The high time frame, this right here, we've established this is our daily fair value gap right here, right? And we were waiting for a liquidity sweep on gold, which we got. And not only is it a liquidity sweep on the high time frame, it's a liquidity sweep into a major level. This is money right here. And the fact that this is a power of 3, because it came out of consolidation and we manipulated down into that hourly, right? Man, my computer is eating up resources right now. So on the 2-minute or 3-minute, it's the last series of down close candles before a rally. So if you look at this, these red candles, that's your order block, right? So that, you don't take the wick into account, just the body. That right there is the change in the state of delivery. So you cannot trade every change in the state of delivery. You're going to get raked, okay? Raked with a K, R-A-K-E-D. Because if you did that, there's so many false signals, right? Like you have a series of down close candles here, you closed above them, and you might be like, oh, I know what a change in the state of delivery is. I'll go long here. No, it has to, like if you rewind the stream and you review my narrative on gold, I was waiting for a major sweep into that daily fair value gap, okay? That's what sets it up first. And then you look for a change in the state of delivery. So then we closed above that. Now, a market structure shift usually comes later than a change in the state of delivery. Here's what a perfect textbook market structure looks like. You have lower highs and lower lows. And when you get above the last lower high, that's your market structure shift. Right there. So in this case, on the 2-minute, you actually don't have a market structure shift until you cross that. You could go to different time frames to see, like maybe we have a 5-minute or maybe we have a 3-minute, but this has not broken structure yet, right? The last lower high is that right there on the 5-minute. So you're not going to break structure until you get there. That's why the CISD is, in my opinion, a superior way of trading reversals. But it has to line up with a high time frame level and preferably in a macro. So this trade that I took was in the 950 to 1010 macro, the long that I took on gold. I hope that helps. Yeah, see, 4 PE on SMCI is 15. Actually, it's higher than that because it went up a little bit since then. But my point is, it's 4 PEs in the teens. Let me get off replay mode. This education is gold. Appreciate you. You're welcome. Your trades today were so fire. Appreciate you. Which is better, Grok or Gemini? I feel like Grok is like the adult version that doesn't mind saying things that I think Gemini and ChatGPT won't say. But either or. I guess it depends on what you use it for. Yeah, I think right now this is in no man's land, meaning there isn't a trade here to take. You're welcome, Jen. I think the PM session will set up some trades to take. I also wonder why Meta's down. That's interesting. Yeah, I might take profits on Soxo. I wonder if Microsoft sets up a short. GC just running away without any retracement? It gave you a retracement, dude. What do you mean? What do you think that is right there? I'm out of GC because I don't want to trade this chop. But GC gave you a retracement after we took profits. It came down to that fair value gap. Right there. Can you do a video explaining gold and NQ trade? I'm not going to do like a YouTube video, but maybe like a short or something. Yeah. I was hoping for a re-entry lower. Well, I have good news and bad news. One, bad news is, no, the good news is, the bad news is, market doesn't care what you hope for. The good news is, if you keep your head on straight, less hope, more objectivity, you will be able to find an entry. Is there still a good play on IWM? My God, all these people trying to buy the highs. This is what happens, man, when you don't buckle up. When you don't buckle up and buy the asymmetrical bets, you are now then trying to chase. I would not buy IWM here. I would not buy any of the indices here. Are the 2x ETFs for NVIDIA, Palantir, and Broadcom safe? Is anything safe that requires that question as a preamble? Let's put it that way. That's like when I would ask my uncle, who used to bring the best fireworks for July 4th. He would get them from a Native American reservation. So it would be, you know, all the dynamite shit. That's like me asking him, Uncle, if I light this M80 and then try to throw it like a grenade, is that safe? If you're asking if 2x ETFs are safe at all-time highs, bro, please invest in your education. Please take things slow. This right here is like top behavior, like market top behavior. Wanting to use leverage ETFs at the all-time highs. This is market top FOMO behavior. This is not investing. This is not trading. I still think there's a long on gold later, but I think we got the best move so far. But I think gold takes, what is that high? 3369.8. Just very recently. Didn't buy anything last couple of months. Should I wait for August pullback? I don't know what to tell you. I think you should go back and do a review of why you didn't buy. So that you can fix whatever it is that is stopping you from buying optimal companies at cheap prices. And then you can only do which I can't advise you, bro. I can only give you video after video after video. Go back and watch my videos since April. I can only give you what I think are optimal prices and optimal companies at cheap prices. I can't rewind time for you. Everyone wants someone to tell them so that they can feel better. Yeah, it's still okay to buy. Yes, sure. Nvidia just hit 170. Sure, yeah, you missed the entire way up. It's safe to buy here. But then when Nvidia goes from 170 to 140, they're going to start crying about it. I'm not going to tell you what to do, bro. I can only give you what I saw was an asymmetrical opportunity. And I'm not going to act like I'm Nostradamus and I knew that we would V-shape up. If you go back and watch my videos from April, I simply said we are at the point where it's more risky not to buy. That's all I said. I didn't think we would V-shape up. I thought there was a chance we might do a double dip correction, that there was a chance that the tariffs, that the administration would be serious about the tariffs and dig their heels in to these 100% tariffs and the market would drop. Like, I'm not going to sit here and say, yeah, I knew we would V-shape. Nobody knew, right? But at some point when, Amazon is trading at 15 times cash flow, the cheapest that it's ever been, or when Nvidia is trading in the 80s while it's still growing revenue at 50, 60% a year, like at some point, there's a lot more to lose by not buying that. And this right here, I mean, I can't control that, but I can control what I buy. So I don't know what to tell you, bro. But like I said, I do think there are a few stocks. And I just recently put AMD on your radar. Like, I've been hammering AMD for weeks. There were a few stocks that you can be selective about that still had room to run. I can't just keep pulling shit out of my ass. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, gold is, like I said, gold is likely going to go up here. What do you think of UHC? I don't know what that is. Do you trade platinum? Swing trade sometimes. How do you trade gold? GC futures, GLD options, XAU on Forex. Short the market because you missed the run? No, don't short the market. Do I want to get back in gold? What is meta prediction? Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. I think there's another long on gold here. It's just eating up these 15-minute fair value gaps like it's nothing. I think it can do that. I think we can get that on gold. I'm contemplating this, guys. One second. I might take this, but 1 second, I'll be right back. No, I'm not long yet. I'm contemplating where I want to take this from. Why is the dollar rallying like this? Whoa. Let's see. The only thing that I don't like here about a gold long is the dollar is going freaking crazy. Dollar is rallying because SPY is down. One, SPY is not down. Two, the dollar is disproportionately up compared to the SPY. Yeah. I'm not long in gold here. I can't long gold in good conscience with the dollar doing that. Not for me, son. Why is there only 290 likes and you've been on here since 8:30? I know, and I gave them 2 banger trades. That's true. You guys. hit the like button. It's free. I gave you guys 2 banger trades already. Yeah, I think I'm going to cash out of my Soxel right here. I'm going to cash out of this right here. You know what's awesome is that I do this every single day in the Discord. I go live. And there's much fewer distractions there. So if you want to trade live with me every day and you want these banger swings, because we're up crazy on SMCI and AMD and ASML, make sure you join below. As a matter of fact, I'm going to head there right now. All right, for those of you in the Discord, I'll see you in the chat in the Discord, and we'll continue trading throughout the day. Obviously, I'm going to be sending out my trades when I find some more bangers, and I'll give you guys an update on the market and an update on the current open positions. I might take profits on SOXL because I'm up 4x on that. And then earnings season kicks off too, so we might have some earnings trades. But I cannot long gold while the dollar is going crazy. Just can't. I just can't do it. There is a low risk trade here off of this tiny fair value gap. Super low risk trade. That might be worth it. But the dollar's going nuts. All right. For those in the Discord, I will see you in the Discord chat. For those that aren't, I appreciate you kicking in with your boy. Hopefully you guys made money. Gave you a banger NQ short and a banger long on gold. And we will continue to dish out these bangers. But I appreciate you. Thank you to all those who donated. Do you stream every day? Yes, I stream every day in the morning. Not on YouTube. I stream every day in the morning on the Discord. I'm only here for major events like FOMC and CPI. All right, guys. Peace.